Greetings, ladies and gentlemen. It is your favorite dark sorcerer here. And today I'd like to talk to you a little bit about practitioners. I've been getting a lot of messages lately in my messenger, and a lot of them are deriving from, well, one doesn't want to say less educated or less sophisticated regions of the world, like say, for example, third world countries. But you know, some of these places, a lot of these people could be smarter, like say Ghana, Malawi, Ethiopia, um, the DMR, Dominican Republic, areas like this. Okay, they're smart people. Okay, and I'm saying this straight up. These types of people are very intelligent. They're hardworking, and yet at the same time, they lack self-motivation. Okay, that's the best term I can come up with right on this. Because a lot of these messages that come to me personally are over wealth, over becoming rich and famous, or they're looking to become a practitioner. But a lot of the time, they'll lie right to your face. Oh, I don't have internet, sir. Can you please tell me or give it to me? Make me a warlock. Make me a witch. It doesn't work like that. Okay? It does not work like that. Number one, you claim you don't have internet. You don't have internet, but yet you're on Facebook and Facebook Messenger. So therefore, one assumes you're flat out lying right through your teeth because you're on the internet, which means you have Google. You have Google. Okay? But a lot of people, they forget that we've got a lot of devices today that we didn't have back in the day, say 200-300 years ago. We didn't have this worldwide net. We didn't have this type of technology back then. You literally have to get up and work your tail off to get anywhere within the world. Okay? And it's interesting to see the perspectives of thought worldwide. You have those who refer to themselves as baby witches. I saw a post just yesterday referring to people sticking up for their beliefs. Okay? Sticking up for their beliefs as in being a Christian witch. Okay? Here is the same duality as that of, say, atheistic Satanism? How can you be an atheist and be a devil worshiper? Or better yet, how can you be a witch knowing that Christians condemn all forms of witchcraft? You see that duality and that corruption here, okay? Now, why don't we take this little journey into witch? When we go into European stature, the term Wicca, Wiki, Wiccan, is derived by those who are keepers of the secrets or the knowledge, okay? The knowledge. They collect knowledge. They collect and practice what they preach. You go down into Malawi, you go into Ethiopia, Congo region, okay, the Dominican Republic, the Congo region of Africa. A lot of these practitioners from these tribal systems will not teach you. You have to become initiated. You have to go through the scratching system, the ceremony of the scratching, okay, just to become associated with their practices. You have to join their house. You have to join their system of sorcery. It's not like European based where you have to join a coven or you have to become acquainted as an apprentice. You look at the definition of sage. What is a sage? It's a female practitioner within the Middle Eastern traditions. You have the magus or magi, the mage, the male practitioner, the counterpart. The definition warlock is mostly derived from the Anglo-Saxon and the Welsh derivative, meaning oathbreaker and betrayer. You go back to the 6th century, the definition hexa, H-A-X-A, is a name in Swedish. A Scottish definition for witchcraft. A practitioner of witchcraft. Today we have all kinds of names. Bruja, Bruo, Warlock, Witch, Esha, the Eshi out of Africa, the Aji out of Africa. The Strega, which is derived from both Romanian and Italian witchcraft. You have the wizard, which is Welsh, sorcerer. You got to know what you're talking about. You got to know the regions of the world that they were spoken of. Like I said about Africa, African traditions. The practitioner, much like the shaman, were held in very high esteem. In African traditions, the tribe would not do anything without first consulting a practitioner. Any kind of ailment, any kind of blessing, cleansing, whatever, would not be done unless somebody went to a shaman. You look at the difference between the male and female. Hans Holzer in the book Witches. I believe it was chapter 15. Said a warlock is a male practitioner, mostly of the conjuration perspective, of the material he can get his hands on. He can either heal you or destroy you, depending upon his very nature. And he went in and named a few of them over the last 50 to 100 years. They were in the medical field, which were in the information field, such as being a news reporter, a journalist from a great magazine company. You go into Hans Holzer, his book, Mastering Witches, Mastering Witchcraft, rather. He doesn't discern between who is superior and who is inferior. No. He writes to you as both a witch and a warlock and tells you what witchcraft is, what sorcery is. And now you have a book out by Dr. Robert Johnson known as the Satanic Warlock. Okay? This is the counterpart to Anton Xander LaVey's The Satanic Witch, which was forwarded by Blanche Barton. Okay? And he literally puts forth several different images, or I should say depictions, of what a warlock is. Now you notice today, I'm dressed in a suit without the tie. See, something like this I refer to as a monkey suit. I don't like suits, okay? I really don't. I'm going to be honest with you. I hate suits. I find them to be irritating, constrictive, kind of like one of those formal things that go back to the 18th century royalty. Okay, like you're going to a ball, one of those royal balls, and you got to get dressed up, or you got to go to the White House, because you're going to have you're going to have an interview with the president. You got to dress up and go back to the 17th century, and you got George Washington, who through his lifestyle, owning land, going from being a general, a man of stature, into his presidency, his first and second term. Okay. He had to dress the part. Okay. Doesn't this feel like you're going to church? Think about it for just a minute. Doesn't this seem like you're basically going to church as a practitioner? So I don't feel comfortable like this. I really don't. I hate this. That's the way I see it. Okay? And that's one of the reasons why I liked this book, The Satanic Warlock, because Dr. Robert Johnson really does break it down for you. Okay? He literally breaks it down. He gives depictions from the everyday slum, the everyday Joe. I'm talking the blue jeans, the t-shirt, to the sophisticated warlock that wears a monkey suit, the monkey suit, to what is known as the magician. Okay? This is a man who has literally applied his expertise, his knowledge within the craft, the arts. And he really applies it within various different depictions. I think there was at least a half a dozen depictions within his book. Okay? Unlike the feminine archetype of the term witch, who has natural wiles, who can seduce and play upon their nature, the opposite sex, okay, the male, and get what they want quite easily. Men, on the other hand, the warlock really does have to get their shit together. They have to get their act together. That is the best way I can tell you. They have to learn the art of seduction. They have to learn and work 10 times harder to get what they want. Do you think that Donald Trump got to where he is today by playing by the rules? By getting things handed to him on a golden platter? Or do you think that he actually worked for what he has today? He's not just a showboater who will buy, what did they say when he first got into office? It was like $500 worth of food for the White House from McDonald's, Burger King, and Wendy's, and a few other restaurants for this one event. No, he worked his ass off to get to where he is. And I know a lot of people hate him right now. I'm not a Trump supporter. I'm not. And I'm going to tell you that right off the bat. I could care less who was running for office. I don't care about the voting procedures or all that other crap. But I wanted you to get that depiction of the sophisticated warlock. What does it mean to be a sophisticated warlock? That is somebody who has a stature and risen through the ranks through their own inertia, their own willpower, their own knowledge, through charm and sophistication. They don't just dress the part, okay? They literally become who they are. This is why you hear the terms today socialite. Okay? The socialite are like playboys. Think Hugh Hefner. Okay? Everybody knows who that guy is. I mean, those of us who, when we were young, we wanted to be just like him. But then we grew up. Then we grew up and became what we're meant to be. Some of us are parents. Some of us are in a relationship. Other of us are hardworking. We go out, we have an everyday job that we go to, a 9-to-5 job. Although nowadays they are roughly about part-time jobs, depending on where you are in the world. And if you're part-time, you don't get the benefits that the full-time or those of, how should I say this, manager positions get. Okay? Because you've made it to that point and you are already through that door, so you get all the benefits. You can leave early from work and nobody would care. Okay? Think Bruce Wayne from Batman. He's so rich, he can simply leave a board meeting and go play Batman for a while if you want to get into pop culture. Okay? Because he's that goddamn rich. It would be nice to have that kind of money. I'll tell you that right off the bat. But then you have what is known as according to Robert Johnson, as the magician. Okay, this is my kind of outfit. Okay, this is my kind of persona right here. It is where you're dressed up in, you know, you got a t-shirt on, or you got jeans on. Think Class B's in military terms, where you got the dress shirt. I like dress shirts. They're comfortable. You know, they're not constricting. Blue jeans, to me, are better than shorts. I'm not a big short kind of guy. But you can also wear sweaters, turtlenecks, stuff like that. I just don't like things around my neck that much. Like tank top, not tank tops, but turtlenecks. The low turtlenecks, yes. The ones that go up about 3/4 up your neck, no. But my point is this. I mean, let's take a look at a couple of these types of warlocks. Number one, let's go with E.A. Koenig. He's one of the biggest names out there right now in the occult community. Take a look at him. You watch the way he presents himself. He's dressed in these. In some cases, he's dressed in these this T-shirt for that says "To become a living god." Other shirts involve demonic seals, sigilliums. Sometimes he's kind of well dressed. He presents himself well, but he's more like, well, let's just call it the way it is, the everyday Joe. Number one, he's a father. Number two, he's a sorcerer, full-time sorcerer. And he's running an organization. He's running an organization too. He's got his own printing company. He's making big bucks with what he does. He's got a lot of clients worldwide. And a lot of these, you're paying anywhere between 2 to 500 just for his services alone. But when you watch his videos when he's by himself, you watch that art of seduction. You watch how he presents himself. He doesn't sit there with his arms crossed. He holds them down in front of him. Or he'll keep them down by his side. He takes that moment to pause when he's speaking. Clearly, he's thinking about what he's trying to convey to the public. He's thinking about what he is selling you, what he is offering you. Okay? And this fits into what Dr. Robert Johnson clearly said was the art of seduction. He is playing that long game. That long game. He's seducing you, almost like subliminal messages through his words, through the glances that he gives to the camera. Like he's flirting with that camera. If you think about it, it's very, very cool how he presents himself. Even I have to say that I'm impressed. I'm highly impressed. I like what he puts forth. And a lot of it is based off actual evidence throughout history and mythology. Not just grimoire traditions, but actual witchcraft. Then you go to, say, for an example, let's go to S. Ben Cayenne, a man that really keeps a low key. You don't really see much about S. Ben Cayenne. You really don't. The few videos and posts that he does is direct, precise, and to the point. The way he presents himself in boots, black jeans, the black t-shirt, the occult paraphernalia. Okay? Sophistication. but he comes at you from the imagery of what, how should I say this? He comes at you in the way of Raven Digitalis. It's his perspective on Gothcraft. He comes at you in that gothic sense, that dark, occult perspective. And when he speaks, it's original. It's like a breath of fresh air because he's not trying to sell you stuff. He's not trying to blow smoke up your skirt. No, he has his own persona, his own personality. He chooses his words carefully and he stays out of the spotlight, not interested in the drama that people put on today. Because it's easy to get lost in the keyboard warrior. I saw a video a while back, and it was a guy I used to associate with. Nowadays, we know each other, we're aware of each other, but we just basically just don't want to be around each other. And, it's something that we respect. VK Johannem. Now, personally, I find the guy to be quite childish, but that's my personal opinion of it. But I'm not, the guy has a lot of knowledge. He does. He has a lot of knowledge. Sometimes he gets drug into believing things that are untrue. And then he has to go back and apologize for it. But, that's a whole nother story. But he did this video a while back where he was on his old channel when he was cursing. I think it was like 3 or 4 people at once. So I just shared the video to a couple friends and colleagues of mine. I didn't tell them what it was about. I didn't say who it was from or any of that stuff because I wanted to see their opinions. And it was funny because they came back and one said that he was a fake, that he was a fraud. Another came back and said this guy is just blowing smoke out his ass. And it's really funny because of the fact that this particular video, he was doing a curse out of the Necromyicon. Okay, and I want you to pay attention to this because VK is one of those everyday um, Joes that Dr. Robert Johnson speaks of. Okay, he the way he put it is you got to act a little silly. You got to kind of fill in, so to speak, but at the same time, you got to deliver. And it shows him crumpling up paper. He just kneels down and then he just pops right back up and he's supposedly possessed by Ishtar. Okay? Or agents of Ishtar. Now, as I explained to people, you look at Joseph Nunn, a Luciferian brother of mine, friend. I love his videos. I'm highly impressed with his time and his technique when it comes to setting up altars for the demonic entities that he works with. He stays out of the spotlight except for to do his videos and to upload them. And he talks about them, chooses his words wisely, and keeps things directly to the point. But a lot of people, they don't realize the hours of footage that you put in. I mean, do you think that EA Weddings videos are just tidbits? 20 minutes here, 20 minutes there? Do you think do you think that Joseph Nunn's is that way, about 30 to 37 minutes long? Do you think that VK's videos are that way too? Hmm. Now, you see, I can tell you that when you do rituals and you're recording, you're going to be in there for hours. Are you going to want to sit in front of a TV screen or a laptop, a computer, a cell phone screen, and just record for like 3 hours and watch that? No. So a lot of these things are, well, let's just say it, I'm not sophisticated when it comes to technology. I'm really not. I'm old school. So if I get the terminology wrong, I do apologize. Okay? They cut and paste portions of the videos. Somehow they're able to do this. It escapes how, my knowledge of it, but it's there. You got those who are strictly about education, about knowledge, mythology, teaching. You got those who do videos. You got those who sit there and bullshit online. But you got different types of warlocks, as I just pointed out. Different types of warlocks. You look at how they dress. I've seen VK's videos where he's laying in bed, shirtless, smoking a cigarette, while talking and doing video. I don't see EA doing that. I don't see S. Ben Cayenne doing that. I don't see Joseph Nunn doing that. But hey, to each their own. And that's the point. Witchcraft is about individuality. You want to become a witch or a warlock, you have to learn the skills. You have to learn to utilize and harness through self motivation. You can't just get online and go, oh, this guy's a black magician. How do I sell my soul to Satan to become rich and famous? How do I become associated? I want to make a pact with Satan. How do I do it? You don't turn around after offering, doing something like that and then wanting to join the Illuminati. You're not going to sit there and go, well, I don't have internet. No. That tells me you're not serious about what you practice or what you preach. I've spent 30 years through multiple different types of religions, studying, practicing, becoming initiated. I've had a few people look at me and say, it is rare to see an individual who is both a scholar and a practitioner. E.A. Koetting could be classified as both. This man literally has done lectures. Lectures. You look at Christopher Penziak, who literally has his own schools of witchcraft scattered throughout the eastern United States. This man goes up and down the coast doing lectures. Now, I don't know if he still does them or not, but he used to. He's a man that puts out a lot of knowledge. He gives a lot of history, a lot of mythology, but he gives very few exercises. He's not like Raven Silverwolf or say for an example, a lot of these new age practitioners who give spells and rituals right off the bat. No. These types are teaching you, they're educating you, and they're leading you by the hand upon sorcery. What does it take to become a sorcerer? EA Quitting just did the book of Satan from his gatekeepers pantheon. And he clearly said, and I quote, the last 3 years. Now look at the footage. Look at the video recordings of his rituals, his workings. How many hours do you suppose dropping these videos down every so often? How often, how many hours do you suppose he spent recording these rituals? Getting into meditations, getting into trances, getting into invocations and evocations, setting up for these independent rituals time and time again. You see some practitioners work with like 2, 3 different entities a month. You got those who work with one entity per month. And then you got those that will sit there and call on them different ones each night. You want to become a successful witch or warlock? Learn to play the game. The name Satan translates into adversary, the opposer. It's not about playing the bad guy to the church. It's not that look at me badge, I'm a Satanist, or I'm a witch, or I'm a warlock. There's a lot of things that apply to being this type of being, this type of practitioner. It takes dedication, repetition, dedication, commitment, being self-motivated to go out and seek the knowledge, the wisdom. When you're dealing with the public, it helps to be well groomed. But you got to look at the individual as well. You got to look at the individual. Some people, when you look at women and you ask them, what is their ideal warlock? What is their ideal perspective of what a practitioner is? Okay? You even talk to people who aren't religious and you ask them, who would you date? What is your ideal guy? It's the same thing. Somebody who's well groomed, somebody who is considered to be an alpha, somebody who will be kind and courteous to them, those who would protect them, carry those strong genes. You got guys out there that like to shave themselves. You got guys that will only shave their face, not their entire body. Women have said that it's very attractive for a guy to shave everywhere. Others just like a nice, clean cut kind of guy. You see, appearance can only get you so far. You really have to turn on that charm. And being a keyboard warrior really does limit that. And I have to agree with Dr. Robert Johnson, author of The Satanic Warlock. Nobody really plays that game because when you get out into the public, a lot of times you're going to fail if you don't have that natural connotation of how to play the game. You have to rely on your own instincts. your own your own persona. When you go for a job interview, it's the same thing. You're selling yourself. So you have to apply yourself, put on that persona, and go for that job position. You want to be management? Do it. Become the manager. Show them, the higher ups, what separates you from the herd. It's the same thing with a warlock trying to seduce a witch, a woman. You see, women, they don't have this. They don't have this issue. They have these natural wiles, natural intelligence, because number one, they're more mental, they're more emotional, they're more balanced. And there's a lot of theories behind that. Trust me on that. And everybody thinks that they're a guru when it comes to that. But it's not just about gaining a mate, it's not just about going for employment. Becoming these personas and becoming what you are when you're truly passionate about any aspect of your life, be it being a father. I love being a dad, by the way. I really do. I'll sit there and play with dinosaurs with my 3-year-old son for hours. He'll sit there and lead me by the hand and I'll follow. You know, my better half. You know, I like being in a relationship. She makes me a better man. Okay. But here's the kicker. You remember what I said about shaving yourself? She has that ideal image. She likes to shave me. Okay. I do it myself some of the time too, but when it comes to my goatee, she likes it a certain way. So I let her do it. Of course, my mother, who's 70 some odd years old, yeah, she came back at me with that old saying that it's like, Ma, you know. But my point is that you've got to adhere to your partner as well and what she wants or what he needs, what he likes, what she likes. And that's the thing. You have to not only understand that enjoyment, that gratification, but at the same time, you got to put on that persona and be comfortable with who you are and what you are. When it comes to the arts and practices, adhere to who you are, what you know. I've always lived up to two rules since coming online about 10 years ago. When I started the Order of the Black Thorn, I reached out to successful organizations at that time. I only heard back from one of them, just one, out of the half a dozen that I reached out to. And the two rules that were given to me, whatever you preach, always back it up. Always back it up. And I've lived up to that. I've always backed up my material with multiple different sources. Whatever I'm studying, whatever I'm practicing, whatever I'm teaching, I'm putting on that persona of the practitioner, the magician, the sorcerer, the warlock, the bokor, you know, the Mayamembo, Veros. And you're looking to make that impact through education, through understanding. How do you expect these new generations to get into these practices if you're going to corrupt them, if you're going to water them down, if you're not willing to share what you know? What's the point of doing it? So therefore, mythology and history plays a huge factor, going back as far as the 5th century BC, the 6th century BC. going all the way up into AD, BCE, and so forth to today. And number two, always make yourself available to the public. Two rules right there. Back up what you preach. And always make yourself available to the public. I've lived up to both of these. Which is probably why I'm feared and hated, but also loved. I've had people look at me and say, thank you for what you do. I've had people tell me that they've been recommending me to people. Cool. Thank you. I'm glad you like the material. I'm glad you like what I do. And I'm sure that EA Coeting likes, is saying thank you to those who are doing the same for him. I'm sure that Joseph Nunn or Curtis Joseph or S. Ben Cayenne are doing the same. I can't speak for VK, but I imagine if he's as good as I think he is, he does the same thing. I mean, a lot of people will sit there and tell you, get into the modern age. Hell, my better half tells me that all the time, not just my coworkers. You got to get into the modern age, the modern era. It's like, I don't want to get into technology. I hate technology. My point is this. When you become the warlock or the witch, you have to learn the skills to maneuver through those minefields, those proverbial minefields of just about every level of your life. You have to find that balance with everything that you do. But just know, your looks will only get you so far. Eventually, you're going to have to get into the actual knowledge, the actual skills, and master those skills. But if you're going to sit there and lie, if you're going to sit there and cheat, you're not worth anybody's time. You can always tell the real from the fake because those who are real, they're going to put the time in. They're going to put the work in, and they're going to prove it to you. They're going to bring the sources to the table. They're going to bring with them history and mythology from various different angles, different regions of the world. And that's the point. Those who are working too hard to sell you on something, they're most likely con men or con women. Not worth your time. Back up what you preach. Make yourself available to the public. Prove that you're doing the work, that you're putting the time in, the effort. It's like being in a relationship. If you neglect that relationship, you're not going to be in one for very long because that other person's just going to move on to someone new. What do you think is going to happen when you start working with spirits? Be it jinn, be it the Ugan, the Loa, demons, angelics, or even the Fae themselves, like the Elven, the Sith, the Sadi, the Vampire, the Lycans, the Ghouls, the Reavers, the Revenants, the Zombie, or even magic themselves, magic itself. What do you think is going to happen when you neglect that? You're going to lose your power. You're going to neglect your relationship with those spirits, and they're going to stop associating with you. I can't tell you how many times I've seen people come to me. Why do you think these beings aren't speaking to me? Why can't I see them? Why can't I hear them? Why can't I associate with them? Did you neglect them in some way? Hmm. I've had people come to me, I want to do a curse, I want to do this. Why? Have you pursued other natural courses? Legal system, for an example. Have you tried couples counseling? Hmm. No? So your first instinct is to come to a black magician. Wow. See, my point is right there. Put the time in. Seek out all your options long before you come to somebody like myself or one of these others that I've named off. Do the work, put the time in, prove that you're working, that you're growing, maturing. And I guarantee it, you'll be better off in the long run. All right. Have a good day. I want to thank all those who have come in on this video and made some comments. I'll have to go back through and actually read them. And I know Shelly333 is on the YouTube channel, and I know Cassandra Ashbrook, Jennifer Hardgreaves, and James Poor. Let me see here. Let me see. Asno Day, Benita, and Batacos. Did I pronounce that right? If I didn't, I apologize. Tara Marie. And let's see. Janine is on here. Achievous is on here. And Anya is also on here. Cool. There's a lot of people that commented and made an appearance here on my Facebook channel. Not just my YouTube, because I got both going on here at the same time. Decided to try something new. See right there, it shows growth. So, and you welcome, Jennifer, and you as well. Have a good day. I hope this has been intellectual. I hope it's been enlightening. And I hope you check out these other channels as well from these practitioners. If you haven't or are not familiar with them, look at Behemoth X. Okay, that's Joseph's YouTube channel. Okay, the others you can find them on YouTube and Facebook. All right. With VK though, from what I understand, his YouTube channel got shut down, and he has a new one. I think it's was it Valiant? Damn, I can't remember. But it's all right though. Um, you'll find him on there. Okay, if you get underneath his Facebook account, you'll probably have a link there to his YouTube channel, so you can actually go to it there. So, but yeah, I would recommend that you check out all these guys and get into the different personas, the different archetypes, the different ways that you can present yourself. Okay, but more so the different applications that it will apply to you within your magical world as well as your physical realities. Okay, so with that said, I'm out, and till next time, have a good one.